do a video quick on this game Cities Skylines that I picked up on a Steam summer sale for like 10 bucks. If you enjoy city building like SimCity or something along those lines, it's definitely enjoyable, super relaxing and easy game to play. This is way better than SimCity in my opinion though. It's just a lot easier to play. It's just easier to maintain the roads and all that. So I just want to go over a few things. This is my first city. I'm now up to 153,000 people. If you play with no mods, you can unlock up to 9 tiles. This game is heavily supported by modders though. So there's thousands and thousands of different things. You can add anything from an IKEA furniture store to the Seattle Needle Tower. So just tons of things you can add to this game. Currently I am running 2 mods. I'm running the bulldoze automatically mod, so when I have abandoned buildings like this and this, it'll go ahead and bulldoze over. It'll bulldoze those abandoned buildings and like fired buildings, things like that. And then I'm also running the City Vitals mod. Now I had to start this at 75,000 people because it got to the point where the only thing I was doing was a bit bulldozing abandoned buildings, and it was getting really old, so I did that, but I didn't realize that it got rid of your achievement, so I didn't get the achievement for getting over 100,000 people, so I'm working on that on a second city with no mods. So I started with this territory, then I bought this tile, then I bought this tile, this tile, this one, and then these last 3. So you can see this is my most busy area, is this peninsula right here. Currently I'm floating around $5.5 million. It keeps going up and down. My population seems to have started to grow steadily after I introduced some new policies. So let's just talk about the districts a little bit. You can paint the districts, and you can see I've made some a little bit larger and smaller. This is my first area, so I've got tons of small districts, and you can individualize the policies there. However, I have kind of blanket policies all over my whole city here, which is called New Lukeland. So I have smoke detector distribution, that's free smoke detectors. Recycling, that's just going to reduce garbage. Parks and Recs, that increases land value around parks. Education boost, just makes the budget higher for your education, prioritizes education over working for young adults. Recreational use, that's going to be, recreational drugs, essentially marijuana, you can assume. Slightly increased tax income, moderately increased tourism, reduced crime rate, and increases your police budget. Free public transportation, this is the biggest one that I've had to always keep on because my traffic is just terrible. That's the one thing I'm fighting in this. Garbage collection, dead body collection, and traffic are my main issues with this large city. I have tax relief for low density, tax relief for high density residential, so it encourages new residents to my city. High-tech housing increases land value, just also increases the budget, or increases the expenses of the budget. And then I have double the sales for small and big businesses, so it also increases the cost of commercial buildings, but it gives me more profit overall, which money is no issue with me right now. So this is the City Vitals mod. This just shows you all the vitals at all times, because normally you just have this bar over here, you don't have this right here. But I just want to go over a little bit. Here is electricity. I'm using 1400 megawatts. I'm producing 1800 megawatts. Water. With water you gotta have intake and sewage, so here's about 8 intakes, here's another 6 intakes. So I have those kind of spread out, but you can see the arrows pointing in a certain direction. That's where you want your waste to be at the end of these arrows, so you don't mix up your dirty water with your clean water. This is the pollution tab. You can see these are all spewing the sewage into the water here, and that's drifting around this peninsula, almost to the point where it could become a problem with this if the water wasn't flowing out in this direction as well. The other areas of pollution are just going to be my industry areas. These are your zones, so low residential high residential, low commercial, high commercial, industry, office buildings, and then clearing it. So you can see I still have, this is my newest addition, is this snake, all these snake roads. This is kind of my newest addition along with this Franklin district here. So I still can fill these areas with whatever I need. And this just kind of shows you what I've all done thus far. Try to keep the industry away, but it's impossible if you're filling a city. There's going to be pollution in some areas. This used to be a large industry area that I've turned into a large parks area and got rid of most industry and exported that to this coastline and up here, because your city's ever changing if you want to expand it. It's wind, happiness. I float around 90 to 95 for citizen. I just can't seem to get my commercial up higher, so I need to look into what's going to help that. But like I said, this is my first city, so I'm still working on the learning and everything. Healthcare is great. I only have 4,006 citizens. I can have, capacity of 12,000. This is going to show you levels of buildings. They can go up from level 1, 2 to 3. Just the longer they're maintaining business, things like that, it'll get better and better. This is wind. So with pollution and let's say like these, I've got a couple of wind turbines that are producing energy. You got to stick those in high wind areas. Traffic, this is what I really struggle with. So the red areas are negative. These black lines, this is my metro lines. You can see if I switch to this. Orange is going to be my train lines. That's something I really need to learn more about. I'm not very good with that. Purple is I have 2 airports currently. These green lines and the black tunnels, that's the metro. And these blue lines would be your bus routes. And you can increase their budgets accordingly. I have free social transportation, or however you want to call that. So it's helping alleviate some of my traffic. And also you can create, on certain maps, you can create dockyards. So I've got some ships incoming and outgoing. Crime, that's not really an issue. I have a super low crime rate. I have more police stations, fire stations, hospitals, and education buildings than needed, but I think that's what helps bring in new citizens. This is just a general rundown of how many citizens and tourists per week are using your transportation. So mostly my metros hauling up to 5,000 people a week. My buses a little over 1,000. Those are going to be my main sources of moving citizens around besides just normal traffic. Population, this is just going to show you the density. Land value, you can see my original peninsulas at the highest value. I think that's just because it's been there the longest, so I think value of the land kind of increases over time. The coast is always going to be the highest value, and then depending on what type of services as far as infrastructure and parks and things like that, it'll bring land value up. Natural resources, I don't know if you can build farmland. I know you can with mods. I'm not sure if it's in the vanilla game or not. I do know the one thing I used was I put some oil power plants here, but that is kind of polluting, so I ended up getting rid of those once the oil ran dry. Here's your districts. You can draw those as you want. Terrain heights, this is going to be your elevation. And then traffic, you can actually get down in there in the nitty-gritty part of the city, and I can, if I want, I can literally add stop signs and add traffic lights and kind of control the flow of traffic and really micromanage that. This electricity, they eventually connect themselves, but sometimes you need to run lines to other little districts. Like you can see, I got power lines running here to connect that. Start off with just coal, go to oil, you can build hydroelectric dams, and then the final stages you just use solar and nuclear power plants because it's free of pollution. Water, you got your drain, your sewage, your water treatment plant. I never really used the water towers, wasn't really a need. Trash, you got your landfills and your incinerations. You can see I've got incineration plants in several areas, and that's what's causing pollution here. But Garbage, picking up garbage and picking up dead bodies, and traffic are my three main things I struggle with on this that has kind of been holding me back. All these buildings in purple are my police buildings. All these in purple are my fire buildings. You can see they're spread throughout, kind of. And then there I've got my hospitals and my crematoriums and my graveyards there. Education, you've got 3 levels of education. You've got elementary, which I could use a few more elementary schools. High schools, which I'm pretty decent there, could probably use another one. And then you got your universities, which I think I now have. I have 5 universities in my city altogether. So I'm bringing in quite a few different college students there. What else do we got? This is transportation, like I said. You set your own bus lines. I might be overdoing it or overcomplicating it, I'm not sure. But I still have major issues with my traffic. So it's something, especially these train stations, that I'm trying to learn better. Right now, all in purple is my parks. So that's going to be your botanical gardens, your playgrounds, your normal parks of varying sizes. You need those in areas. You can see these red buildings are where they're slightly angry that they don't have more parks and rec. So you kind of just place them. Let me just show you here. Say I demolish this building, place 1 park. It's going to bring the happiness up in the area, and you can see a lot of these buildings are fading to a different color. Go ahead and demolish another one. Now I destroyed 2 buildings there, but you constantly demolishing your city and restructuring it. You can build, as you unlock, you can build new things. Looks like I just unlocked the Statue of Industry here, so I'll be able to place that somewhere. I'll show you one thing that was pretty cool I bought. Cost $400,000, but was definitely worth it. Let's just see here. Such a large city, it's hard to find everything. Here we go. My football stadium, or soccer stadium. You can budget it. Looks like we won our last 5 games, which gives you a nice little cash prize. This got canceled for some reason. I don't know why. But I subsidize the youth, so more young kids were being trained to play soccer, hired security, and then I give free transportation to the game, so a lot more people attend. You can change the ticket prices there. So there's a lot of micromanaging involved. And then you've got these monument buildings, which I guess I haven't unlocked any. Main thing that you're going to be in a lot, here's your taxes for your different residences, here's your expenses and your income. Right now I'm losing $100,000 a week. That fluctuates. You know, now that I'm so rich, I'm at over $5 million, I can afford to lose $100,000 a week, and you'll see that bounce, and soon I'll be making $100,000 a week. It's just the city's constantly bulldozing and adding new buildings. Here's your budget panel. Like water and electricity, you can see I'm in the green there, so I don't need to adjust that, but you'll be adjusting these a lot to just supply just enough but not too much where you're wasting. And a lot of these, like, this is all my transportation, I have those maxed out budgeted at 150%, so I've got as many trains, buses, planes, everything to bring people around the city as possible. And then of course you got your other budgets here as well. Just a huge network of bridges everywhere. I've really been trying to learn how to build overpasses and things so it doesn't look so ugly, but the city is terrible since I'm still learning. You can see traffic's just massively backed up here. This would be like someone's sick, here's someone's dead. There's a bunch of different symbols to. You can click on the businesses as well. Like I can click on this. This is a low density, or no, this is a high density commercial building. It's got 15 workers there that are 14 workers that are highly educated, and it's all the way to a level 3 building. But definitely recommend getting this game. I think it's a $20, $30 game. I picked it up for $10, so I definitely feel like I got a great value there. But if you're into simulation games or building or city builders or anything like this is probably the best one I've ever come across, especially with the support for all the different mods. Um, I wish I have a GTX 970 and I have an i7 16 gigs of RAM, so I have a pretty decent computer, and this runs 50 frames for me with all the highest graphic settings. I do wish though if I zoomed in that I could see my city a little bit better in the foreground, really get some nice shots. But it's pretty enjoyable. Right now I have everything going super fast too. I'm trying to get to 200,000 population and fill the rest of my city. But overall, excellent game. Definitely recommend. If you're not wanting to spend $30, just keep an eye out for it to go on sale. But definitely worth a buy in my opinion.